cracking in this bitch. You just tuned into the biggest channel.
New intro, what you know, couple punch pop.
Baby.
What you know.
This is
Talking conspiracies, drink a couple beers with me, maybe Kollin too, because I'm spitting on the beat, and I got that fire flow, just like we got and we the best podcast you ever heard for show. Like, hey, couple pines pot, hey, couple pines pot.
crack a brew and sit on back, baby.
There you go, get them feet up. I know you'll see somehow the world will change for me and be so wonderful. Fucking adjust my fucking ISO and call me Freddy, dude. This is a couple pints pod. Today we got special guest fucking Bay of the Week over here. She doesn't cook me dinner, but we still love her.
JMac does the cooking in this relationship.
Yeah, he does the cooking and the cleaning.
I'm making that
Chef.
creamy chicken tonight.
Crim.
That's on the menu
Crim
tonight.
Chicken. Ooh. Shredded?
So we're back. No. I got a new koozie.
Ooh, that Rick and Morty koozie.
So nice. We just watched T-Pain's Twitch intro. It's pretty sick if you haven't seen it yet.
I know, it's still on my mind. I can't stop thinking about how electric that was.
So yeah, let's get it bracking in this bitch. You just tuned into the latest podcast on the internet.
Interweb?
Doesn't rhyme. Can't make it
Latest
rhyme. Can't
podcast
force a
on the.
rhyme.
Oh, that's Bosco. If you can hear him.
They can. So Kollin, what are we talking about this week?
Today we had a
This
unanimous.
was Collin's idea.
Yeah, that's right. We
had a unanimous. No, Kollin actually held a gun to both of our heads and made
Pulled
us
it out.
talk about this.
said, "Listen, you have one choice and one choice only. Things that the Simpsons have predicted in their episodes over the past however long the show's been on." We found a quick, the first two goes 30 things they predicted. Next one was 18 things they predicted.
I clicked the 18 because it's on Business Insider and they're more reliable.
That sounds a little official. Business Insider? What do we have on here?
So it starts out with,
Of course, this fucking stupid
What's the
one.
premise? Are we just gonna read what they've predicted, or like, are we gonna make a conspiracy up about it? What's the idea?
Well, the
here?
conspiracy is right now that the writer or the creator of The Simpsons is a time traveler, and that's how he's been able to accurately predict or give a depiction of these events that just so happen to happen in the future. So they're saying for the three-eyed fish, old episode, in 1990, I think it was 2018 or something, that they pulled the three-eyed fish out of some ocean near Japan or something.
It literally says right here, a three-eyed fish was discovered in a reservoir in Argentina.
Thank you.
Read, bro.
I'm not reading. That's why I have
guy.
you here, dick. This fucking guy in blue next to me. Wait, we're both in
Censorship
blue.
of
Fuck.
Michelangelo's David back in the 90s. Springfielders protested against Michelangelo's statue of David. The satire censorship became true in 2016 when Russian campaigners voted on whether to clothe a copy of the statue that had been set up in St. Petersburg. I don't know. My thing, like, I get that it's cool to be like, oh, dude, these people are like on a higher level, or they time travel, or this and that. But like, this is just. You ever heard of the term life imitates art?
Yeah, I mean, how does this?
Have you also heard of the term? No, that doesn't apply. Because life is directly imitating art. Letter from the Beatles. In a 91 episode of Simpsons saw the Beatles Ringo Starr diligently answering fan mail that had been written decades ago. In 2013, two Beatles fans received a reply from Paul McCartney to a letter and recording they sent to the band 50 years ago.
Now that's just back to mail. But how'd you get that one from the part where they put clothes on Michelangelo? Because where does art imitate life? Are we saying that?
No, I'm
people
saying
are just
that
getting soft and we need to have clothes on all the time?
in 1990, they did it as a joke. And then decades later, in 2016, Russian people were like, nah, we don't want to see that.
Statue can't
we don't
have a
wanna
little
see that little
peen?
marble pecker, bro.
You can't have a marble pecker floating around in your square?
It's not that little. The real statue of David's like 25
Anatomically?
feet high, bro.
Oh, so he's hanging
His
dong.
little peen's probably like the size of my fucking head.
So he's got his freaking arm
my
just
head's big.
laying out there in the middle of whatever square they have it in or whatever gallery it's in.
So a
Understandable.
tiger attack. The Simpsons parodied
This one was weird, though.
entertainers.
This one was weird. When the tiger attacked Sigmund and Roy, they had this tiger that they literally trained from a cub. They were best friends. They did all that crazy animal interactive shit you see. And all of a sudden during a show, tiger must have been
but
pushed to
also
the
this
limit.
one, like it, you could argue the same thing.
But
like,
it is. It's pretty general.
They did it as a joke because it's funny. I'm assuming they used these entertainers because they were probably famous at the time. Then what? 10 years later, one of the dudes was attacked by a fucking tiger. Yeah, that tiger's gonna fucking attack you. It's miserable, bro.
You literally just try it. That is pretty.
Circus animals attack all the time.
That's
like,
what I said earlier.
I just feel like
just general occurrence.
I feel like there's people like you who say like, "Oh, dude, the Simpsons fucking know everything," and then there's people like me who are like, "Okay, they did this because it's funny and it fits in the episode," and then decades later, like the world's a big place, bro. Some of this shit's bound to happen. The Donald Trump election win, that was probably hysterical back in 1990 when he was fucking being a pedophile and doing shit.
See, the one argument I have
but
is the
that's not them predicting it. They're like that's the point I'm trying to make. Like,
oh, it's not a prediction, but
these situations are funny in like when you think like from a comedic animated standpoint, but then you have to think like a lot of shit happens every day. Tim Dillon said it this week, dude. Cars slip off the road for no reason.
No, houses randomly catch on fire all the time.
So I'm saying, like, if we made an animated show and like we say like, oh, Jamie Foxx is going to be president in 20 whatever,
and it randomly happens, yeah, people are going to make that connection. But
that's
what about when he's going
Simpsons.
down the escalator? How do they predict him going down?
What are you talking about?
So once he's elected president, in the episode, they have him going down an escalator, waving to the people, and it just so happens the identical thing happens in real life. He goes down an escalator, waving to people, almost identical lined up background. Yeah. That was the one that people were going crazy over, and that's what sparked.
There's like a side-by-side photo of it too.
Yeah, and that's what sparked all this. Oh, yeah. But I understand completely what JMac's saying, because of course the world is a huge place. So the occurrences are bound to happen.
Then number 6, autocorrect. This is a big reach. So bullies Kearney and Dolph take a memo to beat up Martin on a Newton device of an episode of The Simpsons that aired in 1994. The memo quickly gets translated to eat up Martha, an early foreshadowing of autocorrect frustrations. Then fucking the director of engineering at Apple told the people that wrote this article that episode served as their inspiration to get the iPhone keyboard right. So that's once again life just imitating art, directly taken from art.
Shouts out to the creator of that.
Smartwatches.
That's another. Yeah, no.
You could say a ton of people. What about like fucking? What's that movie? Fucking Clock Stoppers, bro. They had smartwatches. Where's Disney's shout out, bro?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Fucking Phil of the Future. Phil of the Future. Yeah. Another Disney show, bro. He had all sorts of tech. He didn't get recognition.
No, he didn't.
Right? Am I right?
See, now
am I making good points?
You are making very valid points. You know where my mind travels
lawyer,
on that?
Bro.
My mind travels to in all those old Disney movies, how they say the owners and of all these big what's productions, is that what the big movies why am I blanking on what it's called? Warner Brothers. What is
their production company?
Yeah, the production company. The owners of those production companies probably have a lot of inside knowledge of what's going on.
Yeah,
because they always talk about how in movies they do predictive programming, so people see this shit happening, they see what's going on, so when they eventually do lay it out, they're not phased.
That's pretty cool.
So those smartwatches, that autocorrect, I mean, even though the guy from Apple came out and said, I got it from here, those smartwatches, obviously, the more and more they played it out, the more and more they were probably getting people ready for eventually to have a literal cell phone on your wrist.
Yeah.
These are all just such stretches. Like in
Not
Lisa's
all,
wedding, we
there's, like-
discover that librarians have been replaced with robots in the Simpsons universe.
Like, what the
More than 20 years later, robotic students from the University of whatever the fuck that word is
What?
built a prototype for a walking library robot. Like, okay,
I'm sorry. Who cares?
that's not them calling it.
Nope. Come on, Business Insider. What are you doing? What is this? The Wizards of Evergreen Terrace? Oh, he solves the equation on the background, and it's a Higgins boson particle.
But if it was first predicted in 1964, then if The Simpsons did it in 1998, they didn't predict it.
No, that's not predicting the future. That's
Ebola outbreak. That one was pretty wild.
That one was very weird.
Mhm.
Predicted the 2014 outbreak of Ebola 17 years before it happened. In a scene from the episode Lisa's Sacks, Marge suggests a sick Bert read a book titled Curious George and the Ebola Virus. The virus wasn't particularly widespread until the 1990s, but later it was top of the news agenda.
That's odd.
But is that them really predicting
See,
it?
I don't think it's them predicting the future. I think it's them taking a disease.
Like,
or-
look, if this said Simpsons predicted the 2020 outbreak of coronavirus and
That
back in the
there-
90s
that
before
would
it even
be
existed,
perfect.
that would be wild. But like
But it says right there, Ebola was first discovered in
in the
1976.
70s, yeah. So
That's them
that
just
one's
taking a
not
disease
good.
that they know is bad and creating
Disney
an
buys
episode
20th
off of it.
Century Fox. We know they're buying everything, so
That's how it
whatever.
works. You can easily predict that. What? Eventually,
Tobacco plant? What
oh,
is
the
it?
tomato hybrid.
Okay.
What? A tobacco root and a tomato stem to make tobacco.
So this guy was just taking the idea from The Simpsons to see if he could do it.
So that's not predicting the future either. That's literally someone watching this and getting inspired to try and do something.
the faulty voting
This was
machines is
weird.
hysterical though.
That's the second time I said it, but the faulty voting machines, that's a funny fucking episode that just so happened to come true. I mean, yeah, you could argue, oh, how'd they call it so early? How'd they call it was going to be so rigged? Really? Come on. Okay, that's just general
That's
shit.
bound to happen.
Obviously, America's going to eventually win in curling.
Nobel Prize winner, MIT professor, some Swedish guy, won the Nobel Prize in economics in 2016, 6 years after he was bet on to win the Nobel Prize in The Simpsons. So they just had this dude's name. Okay, no. Lady Gaga's halftime show.
That's not even fucking.
Daenerys Targaryen's big plot twist in Game of Thrones.
People were freaking over that one. That was. Game of Thrones must have taken some of the hysterical, all right, we need to end this as quick as possible because that's just what we want to do. Just scorch Earth. That's how you end it. Have a dragon scorch everything. That's how you do it.
I don't know, bro. I mean, like I said, I think that the Simpsons conspiracy theory is like just what proves that people just want, like, people like us, like, it's fun,
It's super fun.
but it's like, if you think about it logistically, like I said, like, billions of interactions happen in a minute. So like
Everywhere.
the chances of any of this actually happening, even though it was made a joke by someone,
I was going to say they'd have a better argument if they were saying The Simpsons was helping in predictive programming. Because they've been around for so long.
well, they might be. I'm not saying they're not.
I mean, that'd be a better
I'm just
argument
saying,
instead of the creator of The Simpsons is a time traveler.
I'm just saying from like the base of the idea, like I could say right now, like, I don't know, like some ridiculous shit. Like
lay it on me. I want to hear it.
be like if I was like Cuomo's gonna get impeached from office and then 10 years from now he does some fuck shit and gets impeached, and then it's like, oh, I'm a time traveler now.
No, I feel like some of them are just so that okay. Like the one about the tiger, I feel like that one's like any normal person seeing someone work, like you said, seeing someone work with an animal that vicious could be like, hey, what if that guy ends up getting attacked? That could happen, and then it happens. But like I feel like the Donald Trump presidency one, like, that's like if you were like, hey,
Okay.
this is like 10 years ago, you're like, hey, Kanye West is gonna run for president. Then I feel like that's more, if you're saying, oh, someone in office might, could get impeached, I feel like that's more like predictable.
Okay, yeah. My thing sucked. Yours was way better. But like, yeah, in fucking 2011, if you were like, yeah, Kanye's gonna run for president in 2020, be like,
not even the exact
okay,
year,
dude,
I just
but that
said
also like that
in the
wouldn't be
future.
that impressive. Like,
I think that'd be pretty impressive.
if you just say something as a joke and then it happens to come true.
That is true. Imagine.
That's what I'm
so
saying. Like, you just make
time,
an outlandish statement and then it happens. It's like, okay, that's not you predicting. That's you thinking it was funny
Like
2 decades ago and now it happened.
It'd be Family Guy making those outrageous jokes. Remember, Family Guy predicted that Kris Jenner, how he turned to Caitlyn.
Yeah.
In one of their episodes, before he did his transition, they had him come out and dance in front of the troops with one of those pink flower things around him in a short skirt.
But even that, I understand how, depending on when they made that joke, that was not a very uncommon joke, I think, to make at the time. Like, I wouldn't consider that a prediction, because once, back when Caitlyn was Bruce, wearing, like, having long hair, everyone was constantly, like, taking shots at him.
But
like,
also
he's a woman.
But that was already a joke.
Yeah, they did say that. That was a big joke around Hollywood.
Because also it was like, how the fuck is, Bruce the only man in the Kardashian family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he just so happened to have a gender awakening.
Trump one to me is that one is like not that. That one I feel like is pretty impressive.
Yeah, because what was he doing when that episode came out? He was probably he had his hotel. He probably had a golf course.
Hasn't he run for president before?
No. So before there was talks of him getting into politics.
He wanted to run for mayor in New York.
Okay.
And then
maybe they're going off that.
So they could have said, "Oh, so if this happens, maybe Y and Z will happen." But still, from him just being a hotel guy, not even being in the limelight all the time.
So in the 90s, he was just doing like business shit, and then in the late 90s, The Apprentice started.
Yeah, I don't understand why.
So that's true. How can you go from this guy's got a TV show to he won an election and now we're predicting him going down an escalator waving in the exact same fashion. So that's a cold hard fact where they could slap in your face consistently.
But then you could argue from the other side, what are the chances that Trump saw that episode? Yeah. And then said to himself, like, oh, if I do run for president as an inside joke, I'll do that. Like, what if it's like a little Easter egg for like him?
Very
He'd
true.
Never admit that.
But also, who
that's
are
what
we
I'm
to
saying.
think?
But like, you can't say that he didn't think that.
Okay, the elevator thing, that could have been, or maybe he just turned around and
the presidency thing, a little more far out there.
That one's pretty cool. But a couple of these again.
I don't know. This is the first time since like the teens episodes that I'm like totally polar opposite of what you think.
No, it's good.
I just don't think that it's fair to be like, oh, they called it. Like, nah, dude, they made a joke and it just so happened to actually happen.
So I feel like that still means they called it a little bit.
Well, to go back, to make a joke about a three-eyed fish being pulled out of a lake that has a history of dumping pollutions into it, nuclear waste, and then to have it happen in a body of water that just so happens to have a good amount of waste dumped into it. I mean, that's okay. You got me there. But then when they go on to say this person won the Nobel Prize for science before that person won the Nobel Prize for science, that's another kind of step back you got to take and say, hey, wait a sec.
You could also think or acknowledge that, like, obviously the writers of The Simpsons aren't dumb people.
No.
You know, it's not like
they're pretty in tune with what's going on.
Like cheesy fucking primetime, like, well, it is primetime, but it's not like just like, it's not like Young Sheldon where it's like
Good point.
Like just bad joke after bad joke after bad joke, shitty story. Like the writers structure it in a way where it's like, they research it.
Yeah.
Like it's like Schultz's new special. Like he said they would write jokes as an essay about that topic, so they had the knowledge, and then they would break it down. So who knows? Because that Nobel Peace episode came out like 4 years before he won the Nobel Peace, or 6 years, or whatever I just said.
Oh yeah, so they
So
could
then
have
you have
known
to
what
think
he's
they could have
doing
been like,
and
oh,
where
this
the
dude
track is
actually
going.
might win. He has
Yeah.
a funny name. Let's fucking use him. And then he actually won it.
True. That's a very good point.
Like they're not just like blindly making statements and then they happen. Like I'm sure there's some research involved in like making.
Oh yeah, to be
these
a good show,
clever-ass
your
jokes.
writers
Yeah.
have to do some sort of background on what the episode is or the pitch they're trying to give for the episode. So I could see them coming into the big room and going, "Hey, hysterical pitch.
Does
Yes,
anyone
I
want
need
one?
one, please.
I have to pee.
Hysterical pitch. Donald Trump, president.
Yeah, and like I said, back in the 90s, they all probably lost their
Big
shit.
business
There's, like,
tycoon.
no fucking way that will ever happen.
Big business tycoon, big good deal with money. This guy becomes the leader of the free world.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in the room is probably going to say, yes, let's spin this off to see what we can get with it. But to accurately predict that it's going to happen and a few years before also funnily is not a word, but
Fundamentally?
no, not fundamentally, because they made that joke of the faulty voting machines, and then all of a sudden they were faulty voting machines.
Yeah.
So either someone in the writing crew or the production staff has an inside with
Yeah, that's
something.
way more believable. That's way more
because they say that TV right now, every program is still aided and molded by the CIA because of what I keep going back to, the predictive programming.
Yeah.
They still have that contract where they mold and they shape and they form the opinions of every news station, because every station has a political side or they have some sort of side or point to make. But at the end of the day, they're all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So I could, you crying over their big shoot?
What happened?
Oh no.
Don't die.
Don't forget the beer.
I feel like I'm probably more on your side. I don't know, in the sense of like, let's say the Simpsons have like 6. It's kind of like, to me, like a broken clock is right 2 times a day. Like the Simpsons have over like 600 episodes, and all their episodes are usually based upon like life, social events and stuff. I feel like it'd be weird if they didn't like happen to, there wasn't a coincidence in all these episodes that they predicted nothing.
I agree.
It's like I heard you from the bathroom. Like with the voter machine shit.
Sorry about that running water, by the way.
Yeah. What the fuck, dude? It's like with the voter machine thing. Like, oh yeah, our studio is literally a kitchen.
We're not
we've
joking.
Said that before.
It's a living room kitchen.
But it's like with the voter machine thing. Like back whenever they wrote that, I forget what year we just read, but it was probably like, yo, how crazy would it be if like an election had like a rigged voting machine? We can make that a great joke. And then it just so happens that technology failed once in one fucking county in Pennsylvania, and it's like Simpsons fucking rule the world. Like,
I understand that. I understand that.
Computers are bound to fail once in a while.
Now, I'm not completely sold on the fact that, yes, the creator of Simpsons is a time traveler, because obviously until time travel is proven real, I'm going to be skeptical about it.
Yeah.
But I still want to believe it's true.
Well, also the other argument to that I've heard about was because he created Futurama too.
I saw that too.
And
I read a little into it.
Like people argue like, oh well, the things depicted in Futurama could be accurate if technology like blah blah blah. And it's like, no, dude, this guy just wants to make people fucking laugh.
But why are we assuming that you're talking about this creator of The Simpsons, why are we assuming that he wrote all the jokes that were the predictions?
Well, that's the
I'm
other.
assuming
That's
there's
why.
a whole
That's
room
why
of
the
writers,
theory
yeah.
is flawed. Yeah, it's not just
Yeah.
Matt growing doing
That theory
everything.
is garbage. No.
No, because at the
But
end of the
I
day,
like the other one that you said.
Excuse me, which one was that?
You about like predictive programming and stuff. That makes way more sense than
that
someone being a
is
fucking
the
time
most
traveler.
insane,
Yeah, I totally agree
true
with that.
event that's going on in movies and TV shows and commercials. In certain commercials, well, I'm not going to go with commercials. I'm going to say movies. JMac and I always talk about if there's some sort of alien occurrence, and every UFOologist, quote unquote UFOologist who talks about it, says if there's ever this thing to happen, it would be our military disguised with the spacecraft that they reverse engineered. So all those movies on, what is it, Independence Day, all that other crap, where the aliens come and invade, people make that
Battleship,
argument. Battleship. They make
Pacific Rim.
that huge argument of, oh, this is them getting us ready and warning us about what could happen. But I take a more focused point on, oh, the Simpsons did smartwatches. Okay, smartwatches were probably a technology they had a while before they released it.
Okay, you're like,
Because
it was already maybe in the works, because the idea was bad.
Because that ties into like consumerism and commercialism. Like,
well, yeah, but I
Battleship isn't like, oh, this is the government telling us that
you can't
aliens are gonna attack and fucking
you can never make that connection.
Rihanna's gonna save the world. Like,
Hell yeah.
no, well,
I believe that.
she would, yeah,
She-
okay.
she
That was
will.
I chose the wrong actor.
Thank
I forget
you.
who else is
It's
in that
fine.
movie.
Yeah, but those little things that they
Isn't
put in
Channing
there.
Tatum in that
I think
movie?
he is, yeah.
I don't
He's
think he
not
did
doing
that well.
shit for the world though.
I mean,
He's
aliens are gonna
washed up.
come. He's
Magic
gonna
Mike
fucking
kinda
take his
saved the
clothes
world.
off.
Dance like Magic Mike for us.
yeah,
But I'm saying it's more realistic.
That's
If it's
debatable.
more realistic if a show like what you're saying is rolling out an idea before people can buy it, and they're like, "Fuck, I would love that," and then
And
like
that's how
5
they
years
get
later,
'em.
the product comes out.
Now that's where I take the view of, oh yeah, I can see that being true. Because
Okay.
I've also heard that the military has these technologies before they get released to the public
Mm.
years in advance.
Well,
Like
yeah, they have to
GPS,
develop them.
infrared, all. Well, yeah, obviously they
Okay, like
developed
the
it and gave it
hoverboard
to
and
them.
Back to the Future.
Yeah,
I know
so
that's a big one.
I heard they have those broad spectrum of technologies, and once they're perfected and outdated, they give them to the general
I don't
public.
Understand. So what is are these movies trying to gauge people's reactions to them? Like, I don't understand.
I don't know. I could see.
No, I think it's sort of like subliminal advertisement.
Oh, yeah.
Stupid.
Which is
I
a different
don't- I
thing,
mean,
but
I
I'm
think
saying like if you
I don't.
what?
Maybe that affects like the.
I think
average
that's
person.
more realistic than them predicting it.
I think that is. I'm gonna go with that. My mind's locked on that
I don't
because
know.
And
also
powerful
predictive
people,
programming.
powerful people know powerful people.
Predictive programming happens every single day. The government paid, I think it was 50 million to the NFL.
Yeah.
To help out with patriotism, to have the flag shown, to have troops on the field,
Okay.
and
Maybe,
sign-ups for the military increased when they did that.
I don't know.
And that's
Maybe I just think that people are smarter than they are, because I just don't feel like I get affected by that stuff.
Well, yeah, people are.
yeah. You
really
also got to
dumb.
think a lot of people don't look beyond the veil. What's in front of their face is the only thing that's ever going to be there.
Yeah.
Because they don't care to
But
think
that's
outside their
my
box.
thing.
It's what ties back into like the social dilemma, for example. Like, let's toss a number at 90% of people, if they slightly align or agree with that, they're gonna be like, okay, now I have to, read more on this. Does that make sense?
Can you? I know. Not to me.
Like, I keep going back to the smartwatch thing, but like,
Go ahead. Yeah.
if you give a bunch of dumb fucks something to think about, that's gonna be there until they have it. But people like us are like, oh, I don't give a
something that
fuck about a
doesn't
smartwatch.
exist?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like you're not giving people enough credit. I didn't watch Back to the Future, and I was like, oh yeah, like I'm not gonna be able to stop thinking about a hoverboard until I have one in my physical hands. Like.
Okay, but I don't think Back to the Future with the whole hoverboard thing was them
But you're
saying
you're
they're
talking-
gonna come out. I think that was
Why
just
are you
them
using smartwatches then?
because it's one of the things the Simpsons.
But
did.
also
but I'm saying
with
I wouldn't see that episode and be like, yeah, I really need a smartwatch. Like that's gonna be
Also,
a small thought in my head, and I'm gonna keep.
I'm
it moving.
assuming what
That's
they
why I don't feel like
also
it's that
tr-
effective.
trying to do would be when that technology does come out, people aren't blown away by it.
Okay.
So when we do have a hoverboard that actually works and you can
Mhm.
hover a certain feet above the ground and you can do those maneuvers like you're on a
Mhm.
skateboard or snowboard,
Mhm.
I think they're showing people that so when it does happen, they're not going,
Well, what's
holy
Yeah.
shit.
what's wrong with that reaction? With being like,
Because at the same time, if people aren't accustomed to seeing something being done, then it's almost going back to
I think it's
witchcraft
an old way.
burn them at the
I
stake.
think it's an old way of thought. Yeah, where it's like if you
burn
just
her at the stake.
like if you just dropped like fucking flying cars.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like right now, Elon
Yeah.
Musk is like, nah, I got a line of flying cars.
Yeah.
It'd be like, what the fuck?
What?
And people would lose their fucking minds. But if it's like
Okay.
The Simpsons
Mhm.
has
Maybe
flying
I'm going
cars.
based upon like then they're like, oh, that idea is not that weird.
Yeah.
Maybe in
Yeah.
the future,
Or
there
a
will be
super,
flying
super
cars.
Oh,
extreme
that's
point
funny.
of view.
Maybe that could happen.
Super extreme one is, you know how in superhero movies they give people where they heal instantly and they're
Yeah.
impervious, all that shit. You know how it keeps occurring and more shit's coming out like that. How Deadpool was such a comical movie about a guy
And
who
like
was
Wanted, how they would take the bats and
yeah
stuff.
that. So imagine that randomly happens. You see someone out, one of them gets loose, he gets shot a few times. All of a sudden, he's got no blood, nothing. You're like,
Well,
God,
if I saw that in
God.
real life, I'd be like, what the hell?
This
but if
is
I saw
God.
it in a video like, oh, we're coming out with this, I don't think that me seeing it in a movie would be like,
but now
I
you
have solace.
you
and I feel
see it
comfortable.
50, 25 times in a movie over and
Okay.
over again over
You
the
think you're
years.
like, I'm more
Next thing you
desensitized
hear,
to it.
military
also
just
am-
releases their first super soldier, impervious to any damage that comes out.
I
And you're
also
like,
am.
oh,
I'm proud of you for leading into this with "This is extreme" because that it almost made no
Very
sense, but you
extreme.
brought it back together.
very extreme. But yeah, imagine. I mean, so in my mind, in my train of thought, if they keep pushing it, next thing you know, oh, it's true. Yeah, they have it. People aren't gonna go, well, this is a detriment to humanity. They're gonna kill off the human race, and everyone's gonna
I don't
become
know.
fucking cyborgs.
I don't know. I guess I would have to see an example of just something being released and people like not ever having like have never seen something like it, and then like mass hysteria for me to be like,
I
okay.
think
Because that to me, I'm like seeing something in a movie just maybe subconsciously.
I
it
think
does,
Nick
but
Swartzen
makes me
puts
know.
it the best.
Solace.
He has a comedy special. I think it's like 06 or 08, but he says in his special that like it's crazy to think that we drop it. It was when the first Transformers came out, whatever year that was. And
Like
he was like,
2008.
yeah, he was like,
Michael Bay.
he was like, it's insane to think that now people go and see this super futuristic, like crazy concept movie, and they're like, nope, sucked. Saw the movie, fucking sucked. But like, then he goes on to say, if you showed that to a movie theater in like 1950, people would be like killing themselves and like raising mass hysteria because the robots are coming to attack.
Now
so
think about it.
To tie it in, I think media and advertisement and all this shit looks at it from like the people aren't ready standpoint as opposed to we're in a new age. I think we're stuck in the 50s.
Well,
As far as advertisement
also
goes.
just
as
think
far
about
as
it.
advertisement goes,
Like
no one
putting
thinks
hidden messages.
Yeah.
no one thinks
Subliminal
people, no one
messages
thinks
are the
people can
way.
handle things until they're told and showed they can handle
until
things.
they're spoon fed.
So maybe that's where I'm having a disconnect because I'm
Okay.
like that doesn't make any sense to me.
So
Yeah,
think-
because
we're
you're
still
very
doing that.
smart and
Yeah,
not
but think
a
about all
fucking
those
retard
movies.
like a majority of everyone else.
all those movies that come out with cyborgs or
Yeah.
something's coming to take over RoboCop or
Yeah.
Terminator.
All the movies that get his dick hard.
Next thing you know, now we have AI that actually functions and thinks and can process like a human.
Yeah.
What's the next step that people keep saying we're going to go to in order to become transhuman? Is that aid of AI.
You were
Okay.
so obsessed with this. But even my dad said when Star Wars first came out, people were losing their shit because it's like, how the fuck does this even exist?
How can someone think like
Yeah.
this?
I don't understand. Maybe it's because it's by the time I was like young that it wasn't as like a big of a deal. But I don't.
It's because
I
we
don't
like
see
grew
it.
up. We grew up in the tech age.
I don't
Like
see
so
it.
for us, it's like, oh, saw it sucked. But for my dad, when I took him to see the shittiest, the fucking Last Jedi, the worst Star Wars movie of all time, We left and he was like, that was the sickest shit I've ever seen. And I was like, Dad, that movie fucking sucked.
Subpar, Dad.
I don't know.
They did not hit this one out of the
It
park.
just doesn't feel. I don't know.
I think
just don't
since
feel like
old
in
people,
movies are
I think
going-
since old people run everything, that they're stuck in this mindset of like, oh, we got to tell people this is going to happen before it happens, or else they're going to lose their fucking
True.
minds.
Because imagine all the Senate members and all the deep generals, they're all in their 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s because they serve for life.
Either way,
Agree to disagree.
we breached half an hour.
True.
Simpsons doesn't predict shit.
No.
Wait, can I say something before?
Oh, yeah.
Before it starts to wrap up, because whoever's watching this right now is going to see the facial expression I made. What is so wrong with young Sheldon? You really came down hard on young Sheldon. Is it
I just
bad?
thought
I've
never
wanna
seen
say,
it either.
I want to say
Because I've seen the commercial. Like there's no, because sitcoms now are just like cheesy bullshit.
Yeah.
So that was the first one that popped into my head. Okay, let me take it back. Fucking
No, I'm not. It's
old
fine.
Sheldon, Big Bang Theory. Is that show you watch that and you die laughing?
No.
The only person,
Actually, there was
the
one episode I
only
really did
person
like
I've
about that.
ever heard give a good review of that show was my grandma.
Mm.
Okay. I know you just came down pretty hard on young Sheldon.
Also,
but
I
I'm
think
just
it's
no, I hate
shitty
young
primetime
Sheldon.
live action sitcoms.
I think it's
They all
because
fucking
earlier
suck.
I also said that poor kid, if he doesn't hit a hard puberty and completely change his look, his career's ruined forever. He's always going to be known as young
Before
Sheldon.
we started, we were talking about young Sheldon.
Because that is true. Unless that kid goes through a hard, like, oh, I have a jawline now, puberty. My balls finally drop.
It's like Nathan.
He's going to look like young Sheldon forever, and that's all he's going to be known for. He's going to be in a movie. It's not going to be,
Some people
oh,
do
shit,
get
it's
out of
what's
that.
his name? It's young Sheldon.
I think yeah. I think nowadays it's easier to sort of escape that than it was before. Like that's why
True.
What's his name?
Before
What's the guy
this,
from
before
Karate
this
Kid?
oil really starts popping
Yeah,
off,
we should probably
do
wrap it
Beat
up.
What's the
Babe,
kid
everything
from
else?
Karate Kid?
I have no idea.
Ralph Macchio? Is that
Ralph
his name?
Macchio, yeah.
Yeah, he's still doing Karate Kid.
But
Like,
yeah, see,
No,
because he
he's in
never,
Cobra Kai.
he didn't go through a good enough puberty to
No,
not
he
be
did
known
not.
as the
Exactly.
Well,
Karate Kid.
it's like the fucking Sandlot guys.
Yeah.
All of their careers went
Down the
nowhere.
drain because
The
Sandlot
only
was
one-
it.
The only one who had a job after Sandlot was the guy who was Logic in that video where Chris D'Elia played Eminem.
Yep. Smalls. That was it.
Okay. I feel better
Well-
now that I got that off my chest.
Now that we got the oil popping in the kitchen studio.
All right, real quick, because we're almost at 40. Real quick, Beef Babe legend. Go.
I already posted my Babe in Legend. I posted it on our story.
Okay, Beef. Fuck.
You.
He's so
Beef?
annoying. Every time we get to this, he just pisses me off.
I know.
I live
You get visibly
get you
annoyed.
There's
throttled.
nothing else about your week that was cool aside from one fucking meal Brie made you.
Maybe I don't want people to know about my life, dude.
So then why
Yeah,
the
maybe
fuck?
he wants some
Then why
sort
do
of
we do this
privacy.
fucking segment?
He doesn't have to say everything
Because
about himself.
You like it.
All right, and this has been.
Wait, I want to do mine.
Oh, yeah,
I've
you
never
actually
gotten
had
to
some.
do it yet.
Idiot.
Okay, so Hayden, who
My
is
goodness.
your beef of the week?
My beef of the week. I'm gonna make them all you, James.
Thanks.
I don't know what made me mad this week. Oh, you go. I have to think of one. I didn't think of my beef.
My beef of the week has got to be boredom, dude. Fuck boredom, bro. Fucking dank GF over here, super busy taking care of her dank little brother all week, and I was just sitting here fucking bored as hell. Now it's the weekend, and I got both my buddies.
Oh,
Except this one's a good kisser.
I don't.
his kissing skills aren't adequate.
I usually go with the carp mouth. I usually try and open it as wide as the microphone
Yeah, it's disgusting.
and
So
just
my
go-
beef of the week is boredom.
and just go for the kiss on the lips. Fuck, I hit the mic again. Damn it.
I don't know what my beef of the week is.
Okay, what's your babe of the week?
Oh, my beef of the week is spiked Arnold Palmers.
Oh,
because
shit.
every time I drink them, and I showed you it, and it was very disgusting. There's like a brown
Oh,
film.
it's so nasty. Yeah.
It's like there gets to be a
It like
brown
coated
film.
her tongue in this like chunky brown like gross
It's
shit.
actually disgusting. And the thing
What?
is, I've drank them many times, and I never showed you that before. So that would probably have to be.
Yeah, dude. Fuck
It was-
Spike Donald
it
Palmer
was so
and
gross.
fuck boredom, bro.
It was so gross.
Oh, God.
Hayden, who is your babe of the week?
My babe of the week. Gotta be my dank BF JMac.
This fucking guy right here.
Yesterday, no, 2 days ago on Friday, he made me chicken soup, not chicken noodle soup, chicken soup.
Don't get
from
confused.
From scratch. He chopped. I basically did nothing. I was again lit off the Arnold Palmers, and you cut up all the vegetables and
Shredded the chicken,
cooked everything,
chop,
made rice to go with it. I called his mother to tell her.
Yeah, she did.
That's
how
awesome.
wonderful
That's freaking
of a son
awesome.
she raised. So gotta be my dank
yeah.
BF. Yeah.
Sweet. It was awesome.
Can you get me a beer?
Wait, before
my babe of the week's the fucking
thank you.
bartender.
I was gonna say this was our first guest with video.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't think I looked at the camera once. What's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
I think I looked a few times. Not
we're-
too sure.
I want to guess.
Can't really remember.
I just said it's the bartender.
Oh, that was
Ooh,
funny.
Good looking
Yeah.
for me.
Because we were talking about T-Pain earlier and stuff. Anyway, we're running mad late on
Wait,
this.
no,
so
I want to say my legend.
start your own fucking podcast. Okay, who's your legend of the week?
Oh my god, I'm never coming back. My legend of the week is Judge Lynn Toller. You don't know who that is. She's the judge, the previous judge only of this year because now she's not on the show anymore of divorce court. I love her with my whole entire heart. She's a beautiful black woman who takes no shit from anybody, and I love her so much.
Fuck yeah.
Shouts out
Judge Lynn Toller, baby.
Judge Lynn Toller.
Judge Lynn Toller.
Judge
Hell
Lynn
yeah.
Toller.
So yeah, I guess that wraps it up.
All right.
Since Kollin never comes prepared.
Yeah.
Anyway,
got
this has
shit wrong.
been. Yo, fuck both of you. A couple pints pod, we're out.
Bye.
Since I'm fucking with incompetent ass fucks. Have a good week,
You
everyone. Love you.
You skid piece of shit. He doesn't know anything.